Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. And today I wanted to do a crypto analysis video. It's going to be an interesting one, and price is taking off to the downside. Keep in mind we did take this short up here on Bitcoin and it is falling like a rock. So I wanted to look at it in a different light. I did have all this Elliott wave stuff on here, and that is primarily what I use longer term. I have all these levels down here to look at, and we have some levels lower than where we are right now that I wanted to take a look at and show. So we have this around this 14,000 level here. I didn't think price would get too close to it. Right now it's at 17.6, so we can see price do a couple of different things. I wanted to jump down here to the hourly chart to talk about a couple of levels. So I'm looking at, this just broke 18,093, and we have this level down here at 16,107. That's going to come in importantly, because if price takes this out, then we can look for more downside. Now, if it's going to hold above 17,028, if it's going to hold above that and start coming up higher, getting back over 20,000, something else is happening. But if it breaks this 15,963 level, 16,107, that entire zone, if it breaks that, it's going lower. And what can we look for after that? Definitely 14,801. I think that is definitely something to keep an eye on. 14,700. All of that can be looked at. So the 16,107 to that 15,000 number, 15,900, that entire zone is going to be kind of important. So if it does break that 16,107, just know that it can go much lower. Now, coming back up to the daily again, now that we've covered that, coming back up to the daily, we can see that we do have this cluster down here at 10,400, 10,295. I would be shocked if Bitcoin went that low. There's a number down here at 12,303. We have 12,801. But right now, these are the two numbers I'm watching very, very closely. Is that 16,107, 15,900, that entire zone. Then after that comes in that 14,847 and below. So that number right there is going to be very, very important. What does price do, and what can we look for from there? So that's my Bitcoin analysis. It's definitely going lower. If you participated on the trade, great trade. So, we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. I will be traveling next weekend, so I won't be here for a video, but I did want to get this out just to let you know my thoughts, what I'm looking for, how I'm looking at it. Now, if it holds over that 16,107, it should hold much over that. Like maybe it holds 17,000. If it gets below 16.5 or 16,500, however you want to call it, it's probably going to, come low enough to give us a little bit of reservations to ever trying to be long. Right now, short is the play, short is the path of least resistance, and that's fun. That's interesting, and you usually do make money faster on the downside than you do on the upside. That's just what markets do. Now let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum is interesting. And I was looking at Ethereum probably holding up here in my last video. Obviously things have changed and it is just breaking down. So 848.49, or just round it off and just call it 848. That's going to be an important level. If price breaks below that, then it's getting a little bit crazy. If it holds, I would say 761. If it breaks 848, 761 is kind of important. If it breaks down from there, especially if it breaks 500. If it breaks 500, something crazy is happening. So that's the way I'm looking at it. Those are my thoughts. So trade how you trade, but that's kind of how I'm looking. So that 848 level going to be important, and it should coincide with the that Bitcoin 17,000, 16,107. I'm thinking if that breaks, bad things happen with Bitcoin. Ethereum, kind of the same way. If it breaks this 600, 500 zone, something else is definitely after. So that's kind of what I'm watching there. So far, it's a nice short, moving down nicely. If it does come back, keep an eye on that 1,000 level, 1,100 level, and of course this 1,255 level. So if it does come back, if it gets above those three, something else is playing out. And just like Bitcoin, Ethereum it can very easily come up and then come back down again. Bitcoin can do the same thing. Let's flip back over to the Bitcoin chart, and it can kind of do the same thing. If you see this over here, up, down, kind of sideways here, it can come up again, flirt with this area, and come back down. It could be a thing, but the way that it's moving, I think that this is going to probably find an end and then start to move up in a different manner. So that would be my prediction, but we don't know until it actually happens. Now let's go to Cardano, our favorite of the channel. And this is kind of what I'm thinking. This move up is done. And now this move here is a very choppy corrective structure. Once this corrective structure is done, we're going to have a huge up move. And that will take several years and take us over 10, 15, something like that. You can't really talk about that right now because it is pretty bearish right now. It's moving lower, and I kind of thought this was going to go a little bit more sideways, to be honest with you. I really expected it to go more sideways and then drop, but dropping now is fine. I'd rather it drop sooner than later, so that way it can go up sooner than later. So that's interesting there. I'm still looking in the mid 30s. I have some lines on the chart here, 39 cents to 25 cents. I have this line down here at 21 cents, but I don't think it gets that low. I'm looking somewhere 30 cents to 39 cents is what I'm looking for. I have a line at 25, so if it does go slightly below 30, that's what I'm looking for, but 39 to 30 cents is what I'm looking for. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Cardano, I do believe, is getting close to a low. If you count this Elliott wave, you just have WXYs, WXY, 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 and just a lot of corrective structures, like super corrective structures. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on there. Just very choppy. So right now it's getting close to a low, but it's not found yet. So I'm not saying get long anything. That's crazy. Right now I'm short. That's the best play. And then what I do is I wait for it to show something, then I get long. So I don't buy the bottom, but I don't sell the exact top. I don't buy the exact bottom. Sometimes it happens in day trading because if you trade enough, it happens. But that's not my modus operandi. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with Cardano. All right, so next chart is Polygon. So I'm still getting used to these charts. Trading View, it's the best of what I got. So it is what it is. Obviously, it's not my favorite. So Polygon Matic. Let's look at this one. This is the daily chart I'm looking at. I had these levels here. It broke both of them. Now it's coming down to 31 cents. It's almost right at it. So 31 cents to 27 cents is kind of that area that I'm watching. If it breaks down, so if it breaks that area, anywhere over 7 cents can be a target. So keep an eye on 31 to 27 cents. If it breaks that level, it can go down to 7 cents. It's a possibility. I think if it breaks that, I would keep an eye on 12 to 8 cents personally. Is what I'm going to keep an eye on. But if it does break this, just know it has some room to run. If it breaks 27 cents, it has some room to run to the downside. So that is my thoughts on Polygon or Matic, whatever you want to call it. Next is Solana. Solana's on here. I have some friends who are in it. I've been talking about this region here, $22 to $29. I've been talking about that region. It needs to find support there, because if it breaks that $22 mark, I think there's a good chance it goes below 10. And I've been talking about that. I know that's very, very weak. Ideally, it would hold over 1743, but I don't think that level's going to help. I think worst case scenario, maybe $19 and it holds above that. So maybe I can widen out my spectrum a little bit, but I'm looking personally $22 to $29. If it holds that good, it could hold over $19, but then breaking that, it's probably going to run lower. So that's my thoughts on Solana. Now let's go to BNB, or Binance coin, Binance token, whatever you want to call it. I guess Binance coin over here. This is kind of what I'm looking for, is 128 to that 200 range. I guess now it's at 188, so 188 to 128 has a little play on the number 8s there, I guess. But I think that is going to be that target, 128 to 188, somewhere in there we're going to find support. That's my thoughts on BNB. I don't think BNB breaks 100. It could, but I don't think it will. So that's, part of trading is just using your intuition. I don't think it breaks 100. However, if I was short BNB, which I'm not, then you basically just ride it until it stops. And that's pretty much what you do. You get a short, and then you just run your stops down. You don't get too aggressive. You don't have your stop down here at 194 when it's 188. That's super aggressive. If you're day trading, maybe you can be that tight. But, if you're swing trading, that's a little tight. But yeah, you just keep moving your stops down until it takes you out. And then getting stopped out in profit is the best type of stop out you can get, in my opinion. So but that's kind of what I'm looking at, 128 to current levels. Somewhere in there should find some support. I don't really have a lot beyond that. But I do like BNB coin, Binance coin. Binance is a big organization, so I do like the coin, and I think after this down move, I do think it does go over 1,000. So, not a bad buy point around that 150, 120, but personally, I'd rather just watch it and see where it can go. But I might buy some down there actually, but I'll let you know if I do. Oh yeah, I gotta click on the chart. So that's pretty much what I'm watching. Bitcoin is the big mover. Everything is correlated to Bitcoin. Ethereum is the most correlated to Bitcoin, but every other coin out there is also correlated to Bitcoin. So if someone says it's not, they just don't know what they're talking about. I think that correlation will start to break down in the coming years, and I think that as people in the crypto space, I know we don't like regulation. I don't like regulation. Some of it is a necessity, but I'm just not a fan of regulation. But if people in the crypto space can come up with their own regulation, I think that would go a big step into decorrelating everything. Where the U.S. indices are super correlated to Bitcoin. It's not tick for tick, but it is very, very correlated. And that's how you get some people talking about the US dollar and Bitcoin, and because there is some correlation with the US indices and the US dollar. It just is what it is. So anyway, hopefully this did make some sense. You got something out of it. If you have different views, throw them in the comments below. If you have a coin that you would like me to check out, throw it in the comment section below. I'm always interested in other stuff, learning about other stuff and whatnot. So right now we do have a little bit of a bounce going on. It's not even enough to really be able to call it a bounce, but it's something. So we'll see what happens there. Price really should stay under 20,000 right now. It really shouldn't get back above if it's going to continue lower, and I think it will continue lower. And then eventually it'll probably have a larger pullback up here, only to come down again. That's kind of my speculation at the moment, but we'll wait and see what happens. So anyway, with that, thanks for watching the video. If you like it, throw a like on the video. If not, throw a dislike. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you around the crypto markets. Take care.